Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Moon here. Today we are showing a Cornugon Smash Shatter Defenses build to you guys. And it's not that the build is finished. It's not that this is the build you will follow. I wanted to show you the feat picks, what they do, why we routinely use this build or parts of it while playing this game. So first, let's show you the character. I'm in mid-combat for a reason, because it's easier just to start here. But notice I have a character who is a strength-based, charisma-based character. In this case, an Elder Scion. Doesn't have to be an Elder Scion. Paladins need strength. They also need charisma. You could go a fighter that has a high strength. There's no reason you can't be an attractive fighter. There's nothing wrong with that. You are a team leader, after all. It could have been a barbarian. A blood rager has charisma needs and strength needs as well. So again, a variety of classes can get that. Again, you could be all charisma and just have bare bones strength, but you do need to get the entire build power attack, which means you need at least a strength of 13. Now, of course, we can get that with gear. You have a strength of like 7 and then get like a +6 belt of strength. Will get you to strength of 13. That's silly. I don't like doing that. I like being self-sufficient, so to speak. So I'll happily take gear that buffs me. As you can see, I have a belt of giant strength +6 on my character right now, as well as a tiara or headband, whatever, of charisma +6 to showcase that charisma and strength will be highly important in this build. What are the feats? Let's walk through all of the ones that are both feats that you would need, in my opinion, ones that are sub feats that are really good to have, in my opinion, and extra feats that can actually help out quite a bit. So, first one we should talk about is weapon focus. Notice that we have it here, in this case, longsword. You have to have a specific weapon in mind, a melee weapon, something that you are going to brandish, so to speak, to use Dazzling Display. That's the next feat. Dazzling Display is right here. This one allows you, with weapon focus as a prerequisite, to take said weapon, raise it up in the air, and using your full combat round, intimidate every bad guy in a circle around you up to 30 feet. It is a persuasion and intimidation check, a type of persuasion check. So the higher your persuasion skill, the better off you are. That's going to be important in this build. Pay attention to that. What does this do? If you scare them, it is basically a shaken condition. You are demoralizing them, is what they basically call it. But anyone can demoralize a target. Dazzling Display allows you to do it in mass. Okay, now yes, it takes a full turn, so that's a downside. You don't get to attack while doing that. You literally are wasting your turn going, fear me, and then everybody hopefully is scared, and you and your team can capitalize on whoever's afraid of you. The shaking condition needs to be talked about here, because that's the first chance we've seen this. The shaking condition is a -2 to their attacks, a -2 to their skill checks, a -2 to their ability checks, and a -2 to their saves. You can see the appeal. Less likely they hit you, more likely that your spells land. All of this is a solid screw you to the bad guys and a really good boon to you and your team. This is part of the reason this build is useful beyond the obvious. This one is routinely ignored, in my opinion, but that alone is reason to go to at least Dazzling Display. Then, the next one that you would want to round the build out is this thing called Shatter Defenses. This one requires that you have a weapon focus and you have Dazzling Display, which, again, we've just met those two requirements. But the other thing you need is you need to have a BAB of 6, a base attack bonus of 6. For this build, a subcaster build, which is what this one is, it's 3/4 progression, which means at level 1 I don't get any BAB. At 2, 3, and 4 I get a point each. And then it resets itself. Nothing at 5, then I get another one at 6, 7, and 8. So here's where I get a +6 at. Here and up. Okay? So notice if I had a feat at level 8, I could have picked up Shatter Defenses. I do not. So I have to wait. I'm delaying it, which is a bummer. But as bad as that is, think about a wizard or a sorcerer, preferentially someone that has a high charisma, that might try this. When do they get a BAB of 6? Not until level 12. And there's no feat here at level 12 for me. There's not one for them either, more likely than not. So Shatter Defenses is not going to line up till 13 for them. You can see why this is not ideal for non-combatant type characters. We said that. Those 3 feats, again, weapon focus, Dazzling Display, Shatter Defenses, are key. I have that on this character. I have a weapon focus, in this case rapier, because that's what she has equipped, and that made sense. She's a dex-based build, which is, again, not a strength build, as you can see, but still important. So again, she has okay charisma. That's not ideal, but again, more points that she puts in persuasion, the better off she'll be. But Dazzling Display is here, and so is Shatter Defenses. Again, she has the core 3. That's not that many feats. I mean, let's just say it. I mean, for any character that's not human, everyone's going to get 10 feats. 1 at level 1 and at 3 at every odd level thereof. So again, having 3 of your 10 being used for something that's pretty powerful, it's not that big of a deal. But there's better. There's more that you can add. That's the other 2 we're going to talk about. So again, she'll have the ability to do Shatter Defenses part. And this is automatic. It basically kicks in the moment you're attacking an opponent who is shaken, frightened, or panicked. And I'll show you what that is and how that works. But by and large, she has the ability to set up all on her own with the Dazzling Display. Yeah, it wastes her turn, but so what? What else was she going to do? Attack one guy poorly? So again, setting it up, having it last, and then the subsequent round, she can follow up and really capitalize on it, or some of the team can. So again, however you want to set this up. But this is more teamwork friendly than you would believe. The downside is it's not considered a teamwork feat. That's okay. It's just one of those that it benefits you, it benefits the party. Anytime the bad guys are shaken, all the team benefits. Remember, -2 their attacks, -2 their skills, -2 their ability checks, -2 their saving throws. That's something that everyone on your team can appreciate. Having said that, what else is missing? This is routinely by me called the Cornugon Smash build. And I'm not the one that coined it. I'm not the one that brought up this build. I just followed what people did on the forums back in Pathfinder Kingmaker. They know what they're doing, and I trust them. Tested it myself, proved that it worked. It was actually broken back in Kingmaker, just to backpedal a little bit here. Again, because of Dazzling Display and the way it works, in Kingmaker it used to be not a full round action. It used to be one of those where you could fire it off and then still attack in the same round, and just was fucking broken. And you could click it multiple times in a round, so you could like spam it, bam, 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 and just scare the fuck out of people. And eventually one of your intimidation checks would pass, meaning they're now scared. At that point, it was a free-for-all. So the devs really quickly figured out that was kind of ruining their game and said, fuck that shit, no, it's a full action. And again, they also changed it in this game. It didn't used to be this way. But the weapon you wielding that you have weapon focus in wasn't necessary in Kingmaker. Maybe they've changed it since then, but originally it was one of those where you had to get weapon focus and whatever, let's in my case longsword. But I could wield a dagger and still do Dazzling Display. It did not matter. Now for sure in this game you must have this. Why? Because you'll see this icon in your tray, in your ability tray. If you're not using the weapon of focus in your hand at the time that you want to activate this will go gray or darken a little bit, and it'll be obvious that you can't click it. So again, must be needed. And again, this is not amazing. This by itself is helpful, and Shatter Defenses is amazing. And again, this sets up Shatter Defenses. Just one of the many ways that this build will do this. So what are the other feats? Well, the biggies are Cornugon Smash. This one has a prerequisite. You need power attack, which again, you're a strength-based build. You were probably getting power attack anyway. So kudos for you for getting something that you knew you were going to want. Cornugon Smash also requires you to have a persuasion of 6. Notice that means that you cannot get Cornugon Smash until level 6 then. You have to literally invest 6 skill points in persuasion to unlock Cornugon Smash, and of course have power attack, which means of course having a strength of 13 or higher. All those things are prerequisites. So as soon as you get it to 6, notice I can't get it till 7. Why? Because there's no feat for me at 6. But again, on a fighter build, remember fighters get a feat at every fucking level. So if those bastards can get it at level 6, you better believe they're probably going to. Same with like Shatter Defenses. They need a BAB of 6. Well, guess what? That's a BAB of 6 right there. So they'd have to decide, do I want Shatter Defenses now? Do I want Cornugon Smash now? And then they'll probably grab the other one at level 7. But again, those guys are sewed up real quick for their ability to just like crush shit with this build. Now, Cornugon Smash is not a must. Again, I like it. And again, it requires power attack. Again, something I was going to get anyway. Having said that, what does it do? While power attack is on, anytime you hit an opponent, you will do that same intimidation check, much like you saw with Dazzling Display, this little fucker here, the one that's AoE, except it's single target. Only the person you hit with your weapon, with power attack on, does the intimidation check. Or you do the intimidation check on them, I should say it more clearly. And again, if they, or not they fail it, if you pass it, when you see intimidation check successful, that means it worked, then they should be shaken. If they're shaken, that's why this is nice, because again, that -2 to all those things. But also, once you have Shatter Defenses now, again, part of the build that we just mentioned, anything that's shaken, frightened, or panicked are flat-footed to your attacks. That means they don't get dodge, they don't get dexterity modifiers for their armor class, so it's easier to hit them in theory. Why do I say in theory? Because some guys don't have dex or dodge. But they're still flat-footed. So again, what's the point, Brother Mutant? I mean, if they're flat-footed but you're not getting anything from it, well, there are certain conditions in the game where if the target is flat-footed, it benefits you or your team. For example, if I have a character, let's say she's a rogue and it has Shatter Defenses. I scare a target with my Cornugon Smash. Now she steps up and swings at the motherfucker who's flat-footed, you know, had no penalty to their dex or armor because, again, they didn't have dex or dodge. So they didn't have any penalty to their armor class because of that. But they're still flat-footed. Because she's a rogue with sneak attack damage, they're flat-footed thanks to her Shatter Defenses. She gets sneak attack damage, guaranteed. I don't have to be flanking the target at that point. They are flat-footed, generically speaking, and now sneak attack is applicable. So you can see the appeal. This is, again, great for me because I have a spell that allows me to become a sneak attacker. It's called Sense Vitals. I don't get it until like level 9. But again, that's when I finally get my shit up online where I have Shatter Defenses. And at level 9, that's when I take this spell, Sense Vitals. This is why I like this build. I use it all the time because it's so powerful. So again, free sneak attack dice. I like that. I like extra damage. I like a target that hits less likely, that has a poor saving throw. It's easier for me to hit them. All these are wins across the board as far as I'm concerned. No. Is that all of them? No. Technically, I would throw one more into the category of useful. Again, we already talked about Power Attack. We already talked about Cornugon Smash. The last one to talk about that, it would falls in the category of good, and you should probably get it, and I did, is this thing called Dreadful Carnage. Dreadful Carnage does not require you have Cornugon Smash. Be real clear on this. It behaves like Cornugon Smash, you think. It's actually more akin to behaving like Dazzling Display, but with an attack. So that's why I say it kind of falls in between the two. To get this, you need Shatter Defenses. To get this, you also need to have a BAB of 11. This is the soonest I have a BAB of 11. This is exactly, matter of fact, when I have a BAB of 11. So again, a fighter, a paladin, a barbarian, anyone that has a solid BAB increase could get this as soon as level 11. And you can see how broken that is. But what does it do? If I kill a target, however I kill a target, that target dies, obviously, and centered on me, a Dazzling Display effect goes off for every time I kill something. What does that mean? Every time. I mean, if I'm swinging in melee combat, let's say I'm surrounded by all these fucking guys. Here's me, here's 3 fucking dudes. I kill this guy. Because I killed him, AoE scare everybody. Then I still have more attacks. I attack this guy, manage to kill him on the first hit. Again, I AoE scare everybody. So if this guy here, the third dude that's left, pass the first, or I fail, I should say, the first intimidation check on him, I'm going to intimidate him one more time because I killed his other friend. And again, it's basically just a self-fulfilling prophecy of ass whoop. Just constantly fucking terrorizing the battlefield is what this build is about. Now, having said that, how useful is this? Extremely, in my mind. Again, AoE killing shit, and then AoE terrorizing stuff. Remember, it's a -2 to all kinds of things because they're all shaken. Teammates that have, like her, nothing more than Shatter Defenses can capitalize on that. Again, flat-footed targets. But more than that, you literally have set up the next time I'm swinging at somebody with my Cornugon Smash. Remember, Power Attack has to be on. That's a penalty to my swing. Well, what's a bonus to my swing? Shatter Defenses. Because they're flat-footed. Chances are their armor's lower, right? So it's more likely I'll hit them. And then again, Cornugon Smash, intimidate that same guy over and over again as I keep beating him in the fucking face with my mace, my sword, my whatever. You can see the appeal. Having said all that, again, that is Weapon Focus, Dazzling Display, Shatter Defenses. And that is Power Attack, Cornugon Smash, and Dreadful Carnage. That's 6 feats. Again, you don't need all 6. 3 is good enough. 5 is good enough in my opinion, because again, I don't routinely get Dreadful Carnage every time because it comes up late for me. Still great though. Having said that, there's more that you can add to the build, and we've done so. For example, I can grab things like Intimidating Prowess, a bonus to my intimidation check only, not persuasion, just the intimidation part of persuasion. Remember, persuasion is broken down into 3 categories. You can use diplomacy, you can bluff, lie, or you could intimidate, scare the fuck out of them. So, those all fall under the umbrella of your persuasion skill. One of those, intimidation, is the one we care about the most. So, having a bonus to your intimidation, anyway, is always a boon for this type of build. Because that keys off of your Dazzling Display, that's an intimidation check. It keys off of your Cornugon Smash, a single target intimidation check. It keys off of your Dreadful Carnage, an AoE, again, much like Dazzling Display, intimidation check once you kill somebody. So that's all benefiting it. It uses your strength, so obviously only useful on a strength build. So don't go for her, for example, because she didn't have any strength. Yes, you can give her gear and bring it up a little, but it's probably easier to bring up your charisma or the skill persuasion, or the subclass of the skill persuasion called intimidation. There's gear in the game that gives you a bonus to intimidation checks. That is, again, a subset of what we care about. Having said that, that's not the only one. So that one buffs it based off of high strength. The higher this number, you add it to your charisma modifier, and those two numbers are added to my intimidation check only for what I just said, for Cornugon Smash, for Dreadful Carnage, for Dazzling Display. But that's not only. That's in combat. There's other intimidation uses in the game. Actual dialogue, where you were doing persuasion checks, and it will say bluff, intimidate, diplomacy. That's how I know those are the three categories. If you see that says intimidation, and I have intimidating prowess, and I have a high strength stat, I will get that bonus outside of combat. So this has nothing to do with combat at that point. It's just a solid intimidation bonus. Having said that, I could have been a half orc. Half orcs, by default, at level 1, no matter their class, get a bonus to intimidation. Because they're fucking half orcs, dude. Of course they do. So again, could this build have been better? It depends on how you categorize better. I like being a human because of the free extra feat. I like being human because I can put the +2 wherever I want. Again, half orcs have that too. I get an extra skill at every level. Again, I think half orcs have that too. But half orcs have a lot of bang for their buck. That bonus to intimidation, the die hard feat they get for free. Basically, they don't die immediately when they get to 0 HP. There's a lot of things that they have, and again, they even get like a perception bonus too, something that, again, humans sadly do not get. So there's a lot of give and take. It's up to you really to decide which way to make your character in that regard. But back to my point about what else you could buff. There's plenty of feats that buff specifically persuasion. For instance, here's one called Persuasive. +2 to persuasion and perception. 2 skills I give a fuck about. And keep reading. If I have 10 ranks, which means I've invested 10 skill points at least in either of those, whichever one had 10 or more gets a +4 instead of a +2. Well, I have both of these at 20 right now. I invested in both of them all the way to 20 at every goddamn level, persuasion and perception, because I knew that was what I was shooting for. So by level 10, when I had this picked up, what the hell is it? Where the hell back here at 5? It's only a +2 for both of them, but it's still a bonus. And then again, remember at level 5, I'm already using Dazzling Display, so I'm already trying to intimidate. So again, a solid buff. Having said that, once I finally get here to 10, there's no milestone here, but again, once I have 10 points invested in both, which would be at level 10, it jumps up 2 more goddamn points. And by then, I've been full-throated Cornugon Smashing and Dazzling Displaying and Shatter Defensing. So I'm doing what I should be doing by level 10 really well. Wait, we're not done. There's this one called Deceitful. Same deal, but instead of persuasion and perception, it's persuasion and trickery. And the same general bonus, +2 or +4 if you've invested more. So again, now I have a +4 by this point, because I'm already at 10. So +4 to persuasion and perception, +4 to persuasion again and trickery now. Not that I give a shit, but it's there. And then I have this last one, skill focused persuasion. A solid +3 again goes to +6 if you have 10 ranks or more in it, which at this point I would. So I'd have a +6. Again, the order of these, it depends on what you think is more important. I probably would have picked persuasion over deceitful. I just grabbed them down the line as I was remembering these things. I'm like, oh, persuasive. And I like this one early because of the perception bonus too. But again, those are 3 solid upgrades, and then throw in the 4th of intimidating prowess. Now again, you may say, shouldn't you grab intimidating prowess earlier? That's a +6, baby. Instead of this lame +2 +4. Or this lame +2 +4. This one, you can make the argument. You know, it's +3 going to +6 real quick. So again, should you grab this sooner? It's only +6 right now because I have gear. Remember, I had a strength of 16 at the beginning of, well, you don't remember because I didn't tell you. I had a strength of 16 at the start of this build. That's a +3. And that's good. That's very good. And remember, intimidating prowess, on the other hand, only buffs intimidation, whereas this buffs all persuasion checks. Remember, bluff, diplomacy, and intimidation. Same with this one, all 3. Same with this one, but even better, and again, all 3. This one should have been probably 1st or 2nd. This one should have been 1st, maybe 2nd, if you really wanted that persuasion high. But I like the perception bump. So again, those 2 for sure, 1st and 2nd. Then probably either this one or intimidating prowess. And again, I don't mind this one because +2 to +4, it's already at +4 at this point. And maybe I only have a strength bonus right now of +4, so this is really not that big of a deal. And remember, +4 only to intimidate, or in this case, +6 now. So again, for intimidation, hey, this is amazing. But remember, this one's for all of them. So I'd probably still push intimidating prowess back. Now, having said all of that, we've covered all the feats. Let's show you some actual combat. Show you how these things work. I have jumped some flies in the Badlands, or the below ground map, and I've also spawned a zoo. The zoo is something that came from the mod. Thank you, Toybox Modder, for fucking finally patching that in. I mean, not finally. You patched it in like the same day the fucking beta patch 3 came out, and I finally downloaded it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can now fucking theory craft again. But these guys are awesome because in the zoo, this is the part of the zoo that he makes for you. These guys have like level 1, but they have like infinite health or something retardedly high. So they're hard to kill, but they can be intimidated. Why does that matter? Because these things can't. These are the bonuses and the downsides of this build. Okay, so pluses, again, the shaken condition, flat-footed and how that is applicable, and sneak attack as a reminder that, again, flat-footed and sneak attack are kind of hand in hand. For minuses or penalties, however you want to look at it, some bad guys, like the fly you're looking at right here, are fucking immune to the shaken condition. Why is this? Well, first, thematically, it kind of makes sense. Why would a fly be scared of you, let alone a fucking giant fly? And again, you'll see this routinely in this game, thanks to demons being fucking in the game. Demons don't give no flying fuck that you wield a weapon and go, woo, look at me, I have a sword. They don't give a shit. So they're immune to that too. And the real reason I would probably say is because this build ruined, quite frankly, Kingmaker. It's not that Kingmaker was bad. It's not that this was that good. It's just, it trivializes many fights. So the devs thought about it, I'm sure, and said, how do we stop that shit from happening? Well, we can just make them immune to the fear effect. The shaken condition, that's a fear effect. So if they're immune to fear, shaken, panicked, frightened, those are the 3 categories. So shaken, frightened, panicked are the 3 we're talking about. All fall under the umbrella of fear. If they're immune to those, this will not work on them. And you may say, well, then you're screwing me, Brother Mutant, you're giving me a build that's garbage. Remember, what did you get? You grabbed, at the very least, weapon focused, Dazzling Display, Shatter Defenses. Shatter Defenses isn't going to work because, again, they'll never be shaken. Okay, that's a waste. Dazzling Display, again, you can't intimidate them, you can't shaken them, so again, that's a waste. But then you still had weapon focus. That's at least a bonus to your swing, so that's not complete shit. And then if you go further and get Power Attack, Cornugon Smash, Dreadful Carnage, again, Dreadful Carnage and Cornugon Smash won't do you a whit of good against those guys that are immune to fear because you can't intimidate them. But you got Power Attack, it's a bonus to your damage. So again, we're getting 2 feats that you really care about. Yes, you're getting 6 feats, and 2 of them are good and 4 are not being used. Hey, that sucks. But when you can use it, and you can use it in this game, it's fucking money. So let's show you an example. Alright, so here we have 2 characters. Remember, she has Shatter Defenses, Dazzling Display. He has all of them. The whole fucking kit and caboodle. So let's do something. So what do we do first? So let's first show you, here is the Dazzling Display. Notice, of course, he's using the weapon he has equipped. Weapon focus in, longsword. This is why this is not grayed out. If I click this, you can see the aura, how far it will shoot out. If you are not going to catch him in the aura, you'll do a stutter step, get a little closer, and then see if you're within range. So now we should be. Click this, and it will take my full action. Okay, notice the aura on these 3 dudes. As soon as I get control of my character again. Okay, notice the aura on these 3 guys. This weird fucking quaking aura, that's the shaken condition. Shaken, frightened, panicked, that's exactly how it will look on them. And it's nice that they've added that because, again, and that was in Kingmaker too, so I'm not, tooting my own horn here for, like, pointing it out to you. It was something that was a nice addition. It's an aura, an effect that you can clearly see, so you don't have to look up here and say, who's shaken, who's frightened, who panicked. I can actually just see it on them, and I can just go and attack that guy. Why does that matter? Because remember, she can make them scared. She can also catch them flat-footed because she has Shatter Defenses, and now they're afraid. See that? Because they have the aura. Notice something else when we go to the combat log here. Notice something else. We did a massive intimidation check. Here's my intimidation check. Notice the 53. It should be 47. How do I know that? Persuasion 47. Why is it 6 higher? Right there. Intimidation. Remember, separate category. You don't see it in here. You see it when you actually do the intimidation check. So it is working. So 6 plus 47 is 53. That's why it's a 53. Notice there's also a die roll, a 1d20. Notice the DC. There's a difficulty class or difficulty check, however you know what DC as. But the DC is set by the type of bad guy. In this low-level dungeon area, level 10 DC is not that big of a deal. But, again, easy enough to pass. If we had a fucking 53, hell, even if I rolled a 1, there was no crit failure on an intimidation check. We would have passed. So again, not the end of the world. But now the question is, how high can that DC check get? I can't tell you that. I can tell you what happened in Kingmaker. By the end of the game, it was not hard to stumble across a dude that had a DC check in the 40s. Maybe even low 50s. But you see, I have a 53. But yes, I have min-maxed the fuck out of my persuasion. Remember, the only way to get it better would be to cast spells on myself, have better strength and or charisma. And by spells, I'm thinking like heroism, greater heroism, stuff that busts your skills. I could have also have done stuff like changed in size, like enlarged person. It's a size bonus to your strength. I could polymorph into a dragon form. That'd be a polymorph bonus to my strength. Remember, intimidating prowess kicks off of strength. So there's plenty of ways to make it better. So my point to you is, while this is min-maxed to an extent, again, there is better than this number. Okay, so again, decent. But notice, the very first guy we tried to shaken, immune to shaken. And this is stupid-ass fly. That's why I had to summon the zoo here, so he could show you what the effect looks like. Because everything we're going to fight down here, damn near, is going to be immune to this shaking condition. So again, you may say, well, this is garbage. Yeah, but remember, this is the first few levels. I mean, you're not even level 2 yet in the game at this point. So you don't even have, like, you may have, like, weapon focus or power attack, and that's about it. You don't have no Dazzling Display, and you probably ain't fucking rocking any Cornugon Smash. Matter of fact, you couldn't. Or same with Shatter Defenses. The best you could muster at this point would be Dazzling Display, which is what I just did. So it would be a waste down here. Just know that. Notice these other guys, though, intimidation check, and again, succeeded, and notice it's a different roll. They got an 8. I rolled an 8. I rolled a 5. I rolled a 7, and etc. and so forth, and on down. 20. Nice. And again, on down the line. Point is, different check for every guy that's affected by it. And that's Dazzling Display. That's also Dreadful Carnage, as I'll show you here in a bit. First, let me show you her. Remember, she has Shatter Defenses and Dazzling Display and Weapon Focus only. That's the only feats that are applicable for this build. Watch how when she attacks a guy, they're going to be flat-footed. Actually, you know what? I'm going to even wait around. Why? Because they haven't acted yet. I want to make sure they've had a turn, because that'll prove to you that they're flat-footed because of the Shatter Defenses. Okay, so now it's round 2. Guaranteed, everyone's had a turn. So there is no, I'm surprising the guy. Okay? First, I'll let these guys skip their turns. Notice the shaking condition on these guys, and again, it's steadily ticking down, so there's a duration on it. You're going to be scared of them for a long amount of time. The more you pass, the better you pass the intimidation check, the longer the shaking condition lasts. I should have pointed that out as well. Now, give me my turn, you doofus. Okay. I'm going to do one more thing. Again, they're still shaken, so I'm not ruining anything by making them more shaken. They're still shaken. It's going to just extend the duration some more. But notice something else. Remember, I have Dreadful Carnage. I have Cornugon Smash. I'll show you that in a bit. But Dreadful Carnage, if I kill anything centered off me, I will do an intimidation check. Well, remember, I have multiple attacks. See how it has a... It's hard to see the cursor, but you see that ×3 on the cursor? That X3 means I have 3 attacks. He's probably going to die in the first hit, then I'll switch to another guy. He'll probably die in the first hit, then I'll switch to another guy. And you'll see that every time I kill something, I will fart out a cloud of Dazzling Display for free. That's Dreadful Carnage working for you, baby. Watch this.
Don't hold back!
There's 1. 2. Again. Now, again, useless against all these guys, because all those dudes, including the little bugs I just killed, were immune. Notice the immune to shaking, immune to shaking, immune to shaking. It's fucking everywhere in here, right? So you have it. Let's just check where are we at, where are we at, where are we at. Let's scroll down more. Okay. Notice flies immune to shaking, centipede immune to shaking. So again, all the stuff down here is immune to this fucking condition that we're trying to set up. These guys are not, because again, they're part of the zoo. Now watch her attack. Remember, this guy is shaken. That is the only reason he's flat-footed, because it's beyond level 2, or round 1, so he's round 2. He's had his turn. He should not be, quote-unquote, surprised, but because of her Shatter Defenses, he'll be flat-footed. You can see it right here. Notice, he has a base value of 10. Everyone has an armor class of 10. Irregardless of how crappy their dexterity is, irregardless of how good their armor is, they have a 10 base. So flat-footed really lowered him to nothing. So he's basically like naked in the breeze here. But having said that, he didn't have, these guys are wusses, he didn't have dex or dodge anyway. If I would have attacked him without him being shaken, you would have seen that. But what you wouldn't have seen is, let me find their attack again. Oh, where did you attack? Giant. Here we go. You would not have seen flat-footed. All you would have seen was armor class 10, base value 10. That's what these guys have. So they're easy to fucking hit. But the flat-footed does add something. Remember, if she had sneak attack potential, she could have added sneak attack to that motherfucker. Because of the flat-footed. If she didn't have this flat-footed key, sneak attack wouldn't have happened. He's flat-footed because of the shaking condition and because of her Shatter Defenses. That's why this is so powerful. Now, wait. Notice, I fucking, someone like swung past me and I must have like did an attack of opportunity on them and I fucking crushed their ass. Yeah, attack of opportunity. Someone walked out of my range. I swung. I hit. Again, they're not intimidated. So again, notice how they have their dex bonus. Because again, they're not shaken. If they were, this would be gone. That would be flat-footed. It would say 11 flat-footed. And it would be because of 10 and a size bonus. And that's it. That's why this is actually so helpful. It makes it more likely you can hit a target. Not always. Again, you're fighting like tanks and dudes in like full plate armor that don't have a fucking dex modifier to save their ass. This is not helping a ton. But flat-footed is, and the shaking condition by itself is. Remember, the -2 to their swing, -2 to their saves, -2 to their skills and ability checks. And you may say, well, who gives a fuck about skills and ability checks? You do. There are spells that we can cast. Web is a fine example. Yes, there's a reflex save. They have a penalty to that reflex save. But what if they make it? If they make the check, they're still in the area of effect. If they fail the check, how do they break out of it? Again, it's not another reflex save because you're already caught in the web. It's an ability check, like a strength-based skill check or an athletics check or some shit mobility check to break out of it. So again, a -2 to any of those things, they're more likely to be stuck in the web spell. You see that? So there's plenty of reasons to want to penalize their skills and their abilities. Hell, perception check against someone. Maybe I have a stealthy ninja bastard coming around the back end, right? To perceive her, that's a perception check. I'm at a -2. Why? Because I just got shaken. Oh shit. So it's less likely they see my stealthy ninja. Is it amazing? It's only a -2, let's just be honest here. But it is a boon to your team. Just to be clear here, okay? Now, I've attacked them, shown you flat-footed with her Shatter Defenses. I've attacked and killed things, showed you the AoE, multiple AoEs, repeatedly every time something fucking dies, right? Let's show you something different. Let's show you what happens when I take an opponent on that is a mean son of a bitch that won't die instantly, like these fucking flies. Come on, give me my turn. Okay, I'm going to ignore the flies and run over to hit this dude. Hey, you know, I have Shatter Defenses, so it's going to be a flat-footed target, but keep reading. First, flat-footed, and then intimidation check. Why the intimidation check? Remember, I hit with Cornugon Smash with this build. With power attack build, he has Accordion Smash. So, anytime I hit you with my power attack on, which is like her Piranha Strike, but it only works with power attack, be real clear here, I'm intimidating that guy. Just this one guy. How do I prove this to you? Let's backpedal. Excuse me. Let's backpedal. Let's go here. And let's summon the zoo. Just the zoo itself. We don't fuck with the flies. I don't care about the flies. Here's our guys again. Notice how they're not scared. I'm going to have all these dudes just in their turn, and their turn, and their turn. Notice, I'm going to end my turn too, because notice these guys are flat-footed. Why are they flat-footed? Because it is the first attack in the round. They have yet to act. Because of that, they're flat-footed. Notice how everyone past me is flat-footed, flat-footed, flat-footed. Right? That's because they have yet to act. Let that first round go by. I'm not suggesting this in actual combat. I'm just doing this to prove a point. Let it go by, make the flat-footedness go away, and then now re-establish the flat-footedness. That's a word that I made it. For this particular fight. Okay? So notice the flat-footed's gone. Right? Now, watch. Here's my power attack build. I'm going to walk up to this guy. I'm not going to swing yet. I'm going to walk up to this dude and just stand there. They won't attack me because these guys don't attack, so I'm not worried about it. Same with her. I'm just going to leave her fuck there. Come on. Give me my turn. Pass. Pass. Okay, now, here we are. Here's a guy that's not flat-footed. You can see there's no icon up here. He's not flat-footed. There's no aura on him. He's not shaking at all. Notice the ×3 on the cursor. That means I can swing 3 times, and I have power attack on. I have Cornugon Smash and Dreadful Carnage and blah, 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 blah. But Cornugon Smash is the key here. First swing, if I hit him, I will do an intimidation check. You'll see it over here. Then I swing 2 more fucking times. And if I intimidate him on the first one, and he's shaking, which is probable, it's going to happen, unless I whiff, which is always a thing. But if I hit him on the first swing, guess what? He's intimidated, and the next 2 swings in the same combat round will be flat-footed. He's not flat-footed now. Watch.
Don't hold back!
Oop, he's scared. Yeah, flat-footed. Flat-footed again. Boom. Wait, we're not done yet. Watch this. Okay, so first attack, normal 10. As you can see, no flat-footed listed up here, so it's just a normal attack. But I hit him, and then I did an intimidation check, which, of course, I succeeded. I crushed it. Not surprising. Then I hit him again. Notice how this time he's flat-footed. Again, didn't help me in any way. But if I had sneak attack potential, I could have got sneak attack on the second hit. I could have gotten it on the third hit, because again, on the third hit, he's still fucking flat-footed. Now, and again, you notice each time I hit him, by the way, each time I hit, intimidate, intimidate, intimidate. So again, if I somehow failed, this is not a natural failure. There is no crit failure on, or a crit success even for that matter, on an intimidation check. Thank God. But each time I swing and hit him, to put this into context, let's say I hit him the first time and he had like a DC check of like 71 or some shit, and I did not pass the first check, and I hit him on the second attack. I try again to intimidate him. Did I pass? No. Okay, I hit him a third time. Did I intimidate him that time? Well, maybe that time you did. So you can see the appeal here. It's not just a one and done. It's every fucking time you hit this bastard, you're going to try to intimidate him. Now wait, let me show you something else. Back to my character. I keep harping about how important the flat-footedness is. Let me show you an example of why I like it. On the Elder Scion build, I'm capable with the Arcane Bloodline, which is the build I went with. I get 9 free spells from the Wizard spell list. I get 1 at level 9, 1 at 13, 1 at 17, and then 6 more at level 19. That is a laundry list of spells that we normally don't have access to as a Magus. Yes, you can repick other Magus spells. I'm an Elder Scion. I have a limited spell list. But it opens up a world of holy shit of 9 free spells that could be shit that you did not have access to. To give you some frame of context here, Magus have access to Magus spell list. That is a lot of evocation spells. Conjuration spells are in there. Got some abjuration spells. There's an illusion spell or 2. There's no enchantments. Not one fucking enchantment spell in the entire goddamn list. Unless you're getting it for free, like you're getting from your bloodline down here. Which I did not get any enchantments. But I could have if I went a different bloodline. But if you wanted to be an enchanter, you're not playing in Magus. Not an Elder Scion even. Elder Scion at least has the potential to play a good enchanter. Why? Because again, if you do the Arcane Bloodline, this could have been an enchantment spell, so could have that one, so could have that one, so could have the 6 over here. So again, I could have had 9 enchantment spells. I went from 0 to 9, like boom. But that's weird, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. But what do I recommend? Well, look at level 9. I have a spell called Sense Vitals. This gives you sneak attack damage for a limited amount of time. But notice when it showed up at level 9. Why is level 9 important? Because Shatter Defenses keyed in right at the same fucking time. You see why I like the Arcane Bloodline. And routinely when you see my builds and I do the Arcane Bloodline, when I get to level 9, it's not even a fucking question. What am I grabbing? I'm getting Sense Vitals. Fuck you. I'm kicking you right in your Sense Vitals. Right in the fucking Sense Vitals. You're going to feel it. And it's because of shit like this, and because of shit like this, that I love Sense Vitals as a spell for free. Now, yes, you have to cast it. Yes, it's limited use. Let me give you an example of that limited use. Notice, I also have things like Quicken Magic, Empowered Magic, and Maximized Magic. I'm going to use the Quicken Magic here, so I can cast a spell instantaneously on myself. I have Sense Vitals, and I still have my action. Watch me go over here and hit this motherfucker.
I am your end!
See that? Now wait, let's look at what just happened here. Pause the game or whatever. Stop tagging this character. I cast the spell, it cast on myself thanks to Quicken Magic. Poof, I cast a spell, boo, it's on me, and I still get to attack. And what happened? I hit the motherfucker with a crit. Notice, he's not flat-footed. That was a new target. He's flat-footed now because he's shaking, but on the first hit, no. But I hit him. So I intimidated him. And yes, certain enough I passed it. Hit him hard no less. And then the second attack comes along. 2 out of 3, see that? And again, he's flat-footed now, which means sneak attack is applicable. There's no one near him but me. It literally is not because I have flanking. It is me. He's scared. I have Shatter Defenses. Because he's scared, he's flat-footed, which you see here. And now my sneak attack goes off. Look at that extra damage. I did almost as much damage with that sneak attack as I did with the first hit, which was a critical fucking hit. 56 to 51 damage. And then on the follow-up attack, again, I intimidate him again. Not that it matters, but it like refreshes the shaken condition. But I hit him again, not surprising. And again, he's flat-footed. And again, this was a very weak attack for me. Remember, you start off with a full attack bonus than your first swing. So this is plus 15 for the first swing, plus 10 for the next one, plus 5 for the third and final attack. So this was the weakest chance for me to hit him. And I still hit him. Of course, he's a pansy. Not the point. Point is, it's because of flat-footed that it's more likely you will hit too. And I got my sneak attack yet again. So I added 5d6 and 5d6 of damage to that one attack roll, or that one combat round, excuse me. 10d6 of extra damage because of that spell on me. And yes, you can extend that spell. Yes, you can have that spell last for a very, very long time and really enjoy murdering the shit out of stuff that you set up in this flat-footed way. Wanted to show you that. That, to me, was another interesting appeal. And could I have put it on another character? Sure. Like I could have, like, this character, for example, she's not, but she could have been like a rogue, for example. And just like her, just to show you her feat picks, just like her feat picks, I could have had her, the rogue, pick weapon focus in something like a rapier. I could have had them get Dazzling Display and had them pick up Shatter Defenses. None of this is fighter related. It's just combat related. So there's not a limit like you have to be a fighter to get these things. It's a BAB requirement. Remember, you had to have a BAB of fucking 6 to get Shatter Defenses. It took her a while to get a BAB of 6. That's why she didn't get it way the hell back here. She didn't have a BAB of 6 yet. So I grabbed Piranha Strike. That's fine. Just build around that. By here, it's a solid time still to pick it up. Hell, it's when I pick it up on my build, so again, if that works for me, then it must work for her. If she was a rogue and had sneak attack already built into her character, or hell, it doesn't have to be a rogue, it could be like a vivisectionist, it could be slayers have sneak attack. Again, there's another character who has sneak attack, I just can't think off the top of my head what the hell they are. But again, plenty of sneak attack potential out there, and with you having Shattered Defenses, as long as somehow the bad guy is shaken, frightened, or panicked. That can be from a spell, that can be from a feat, that can be from my Cornugon Smash, my Dazzling Display, that can come from my Dreadful Carnage. Any number of ways that that motherfucker scared me, and now they're flat-footed, guaranteed to my attacks, and sneak attack, sneak attack, sneak attack. That's why this one's so good to me. That's why it's so powerful to me. It's why I'm sure the devs nerfed it by literally giving a lot of bad guys, not all, but a lot of bad guys, immunity to the fear effect. Now, this video's gone on long enough. I wanted you guys to see that and know that that was a thing that we could do. So this is build 1. That's, in my opinion, a strength-based build. What's build 2 and build 3 and build 4 going to be? Well, I'm going to do the other strength build tonight. Try to get both these videos up tonight if I can. That other build will be the improved cleaving finish build. And I will even do it instead of using the same old character like the Eldritch Scion that you're seeing here. I'll do it on like a fighter, just to show you can do it with other classes. I'll do, like this one again, as I mentioned just before, just to reiterate a point just at the very end here. Strength, Charisma was your key stats. Did you have to have a massive strength? No, you need a strength of 13. Why? Because you need it to get power attack. That's the only way to get power attack, so you have to have a strength of 13 or higher. Is that wasteful if you're only going to do is get a strength of 13? Yeah. You should probably go for a strength of 16 minimum, which is what I did, and then rely on strength-based gear. And again, strength charisma builds are plentiful in this game. So there's a strength charisma build you can do for a fighter, no problem. You can do a strength charisma build for a barbarian. A blood rager is a solid choice. A paladin is a solid choice. So again, don't just tie it to the fact that I'm doing it on an Eldritch Scion. It has nothing to do with it. You just happen to know that an Eldritch Scion is really good at charisma and can either be good in dex or strength, your choice, in my opinion. And again, I prefer strength many times because you're going to be wearing full goddamn plate armor in this build and not have any problem casting spells. This is a solid character. Is it min-maxed? To a degree. Is it totally min-maxed? No, because if it did, I'd probably be a half orc. I'd probably rely on more spells that buff up my persuasion. On that, know that, again, part of my free spell list, let's get back to my character just to show it to you. My free spell list, the 9 free spells that I got for leveling up for the Arcane Bloodline, remember? One of them was Sense Vitals for obvious reason. What other ones could you have grabbed? Well, let me show you a couple spells that smack of being of value to you. So for my character, here's my spell book. Notice Enlarged Person. It is a strength bonus. It is a size strength bonus, which means it stacks with my belt. My belt is strength +6. There's other spells that give you a size strength bonus. Righteous Might. That's a paladin. It is a cleric oracle type spell. Maybe paladin, but I can't remember that. War Priest would have access to it too. And War Priest would make a solid choice for a strength, wisdom, charisma build. It's mad as all hell, multiple attribute distribution. But the point is still the same. You don't need a lot of wisdom, you don't need a lot of charisma, and you don't need a lot of strength. But a 16 in each of those things would be money for a solid Cornugon Smash, Dreadful Carnage, Shatter Defenses type build. Enlarged Person, right? Might. What else? You could add Legendary Proportions. There's Frightful Aspect. Is another one that gives you like strength bonuses. And those are usually size bonuses. I could do polymorph bonuses. Remember with the Demon Mythic Path, there's a really good chance to do a demon playthrough where you're playing like an Eldritch Scion like I've done right now and going crazy into the Demon Mythic Path where you turn into the fucking demons, because there's a demon that you can turn into that gives a +10 polymorph bonus to strength. Imagine that motherfucker just mauling the shit out of shit with Dreadful Carnage and Shatter Defenses and Cornugon Smash on. Just beating the bejesus out of stuff. So again, some serious fun to be had here. And again, I could have gone other stuff. So here's Enlarged Person, like I said. I could have gone, just to point out, honorable mention to True Strike. Again, people bitch about it, but I love it for two reasons. One, we have as a Magus, an Eldritch Scion, particularly for me, but again, any Magus, you can cast a spell and attack in the same combat round. That makes True Strike really, really powerful. Not only that, but I also have access to like Quicken Magic, Quicken Meta Magic. There's a Sorcery Reflex ability you get in your Mythic Pass that could literally let you cast one spell and one spell only at the very start of a combat. What if someone rushes you in the fucking forest? Boom, he's in your face, and you want to hit that motherfucker now. True Strike as an instant cast, as a Quicken Meta Magic cast for free. You cast it and you swing. You got a +20 to that first fucking swing. Just beat the shit out. And remember, once you hit him once with power attack on, you do the intimidation check because Cornugon Smash kicks in. So again, you can hit him up, start whipping him down, and start taking damage off the guy. And if you set up sneak attack potential for everybody else, all the better. So just to point that out. Other stuff like level 2, don't forget Eagle Splendor, Bull Strength, early levels anyway, are good ways to buff your strength and or your charisma. So a solid upgrade. No Sense Vitals, that was a free spell pick. Again, my 1 of 9. Level 3, nothing really to report in here. I'm just looking for anything. 4, nothing to report in here other than to point out Greater Invis. Remember, there's plenty of other ways to catch targets flat-footed. So for people that are like, this isn't for me, I'm a dex-based guy, I don't really want Cornugon Smash and power attack and so on and so forth. Fine, you will have access to spells like this, depending on your build. And again, Greater Invisibility will allow you to catch many targets flat-footed. It's the definition of flat-footed. They can't see you. How would they know you're there to swing at them? So again, this isn't the only way to set up flat-footed. I just want to re-illustrate that there's other ways of doing this shit. But there's also other ways to set up the fear effect. There's other ways to set up flat-footedness, like paralysis. Icy Prison being a fine example. We've got Whole Person, Hold Monster, Constricting Coils, Chains of Light, and those all fall under different categories, to be clear on this point. Some are enchantment spells. Icy Prison, as you can see, is an evocation paralysis spell that does damage. How weird is that? The Chains of Light is a paralysis spell, but it's a conjuration one, and better than the others in my opinion, because while it's a high level spell, which I did pick, I'll show it to you in a second, it's level 6, but it also has no spell resistance. Awesome. You're fighting demons all the fucking time that have spell resistance. That spell's money. And remember, if they're paralyzed, they're the definition of flat-footed because they can't move. Just saying, there's other ways of doing shit. Oh, shout out, by the way, for a new spell. I didn't even notice this one, by the way. Life Bubble. I couldn't get it till level 19, though, which is weird. But it's money. This one gives you and your team an hour buff where everyone gets to basically breathe air like nothing. And it makes you immune to things like Cloud Kill, Stinking Cloud, which are spells that I love, and I normally use Delay Poison on, but it does more than that. It protects you also from being in vacuum underwater, which I don't know exists in this game, but it also prevents you from breathing in like airborne toxins, like poisons and other diseases. So it does more than just Delay Poison does. just to be clear on that. But I thought that was kind of fun. Cool. But level 6, Chains of Light, just again to show you the no spell resistance, and that is true. Also, I should point out that there's 2 different categories, at least, of those save throws. Many are reflex, like this one is. But the enchantment spells, the hold person, hold monster spells, constricting coils, those aren't reflexes. Those are will saves, baby. So again, different levels of paralysis in the game, just to be clear here. There's plenty of ways to set that shit up. Note something else. Dragonkind is an example of polymorph spell and multiple attacks. So if you're thinking, well, this is good for a Magus that can swing 3 times in a round, and clearly for a fighter that can, attack 4 times in a round, those lowly wizards and sorcerers probably wouldn't want this, right? Well, what if they go Dragonkind 1, 2, or 3? You get multiple attacks, baby, in that form. You get a bonus to your strength in that form, and you still get to keep all your intelligence, your wisdom, and your charisma. So a sorcerer that's in Dragonkind, say, 3 form is a beast, using Cornugon Smash, Dreadful Carnage, Shatter, and so forth, or any permutation thereof. They don't have to get them all. Just saying that there is some fun to be had here that is atypical. Notice, again, spells that buff your skill checks. Any skill checks, especially if it says, any skill, that's your persuasion. There's gear in the game that will buff not only persuasion, but will also limitedly buff only intimidation checks. Look for that shit. Also notice there's spells like Eye Bite, Fear, Cause Fear, and Scare, just to name 4, that can throw on a frightened, a panicked, or a shaken condition. This one works. Eye Bite is an example of one that works. Again, let's use it on this doofus here. This guy is not frightened or shaken. You see how he literally has no aura? So if I take that spell that I have, level 6, Eye Bite here, attack. See the shaking? Matter of fact, he's not just shaking. He's a bunch of shit because he's really low level. He's like level 1. So he is frightened for a little bit, and he's paralyzed for a lot of it. But the point is still the same. The frightened, shaken, panicked conditions, there's a variety of ways to set it up. So again, my advice to you, if you're going to go this route, especially if you go like the route I did with her, where she is just the bare minimum of what you need, where you have your weapon focus, your Dazzling Display, and your Shatter Defenses. That is honestly enough to do a lot of shit. I just know that I'm going to usually do a strength-based build, and power attack was already going to be there, so it's really not that much of a stretch for me to say I want Accordion Smash. And then it's not that much of a stretch after that to say, well, I got an extra feat, fuck it, I'll grab Dreadful Carnage, because why not? Because again, killing a target and watch shit just get scared in mass. And on that, as a last note, as a reminder, when you have Dreadful Carnage, how they die doesn't matter, that you kill them matters. Don't be like, I'm going to kill their boss so they all fear me. And that would be how you'd roleplay it. No, in this one, I'm going to kill Stinky Pete, who's the little fucking kobold in the corner, who has like 5 hit points and will definitely die if I hit him once. And oddly, everyone, including the main boss, is now scared of me because I killed Pete. Oh my god. See how fun that is? So again, this is build 1. Build 2 will be the improved cleaving finish build, another strength-based build. And then the other 2 builds, which I'll probably do tomorrow and upload, will be your Point Blank Master Ray, which is one of my favorites, especially for an Elder Scion. And then the other will be a 2-weapon wielding son of a bitch. And again, you've seen those before. Again, you've seen all of these before, but I want to hash them out for you, explain why I'm doing them, and know that this is not technically min-maxing, but it's a solid builds, 4 different kind for anybody. After that, while I'm still going to do your guys' builds, I'm still going to throw in a couple other builds of my own personal flavor. A fine example, I will rehash a build that I've done in the past. It is a skill monkey build. Someone that has a lot of skill points, some good spells, some really good buffs and debuffs, and combat ready, so they're not like they're pansies or anything. But there's going to be like the skill guy or gal, depends on how I make them, and they're literally just going to like crush shit because it's going to be like, I got a skill check for that. There's going to be the know-it-all. What's the term I heard the other day that just cracked me up? It was the intellectual fornicators, fucking know-it-alls. It's going to be a fucking know-it-all. I might name him intellectual fornicator, just to have it in the title. But that's coming soon. And again, I wanted to do those for a reason, to finally finish up here in this long-ass video that was supposed to be half an hour long, and that didn't go anywhere. I want to say this. The reason for these builds is H, so I can give you a springboard for 4 different examples of what you might do with a build. And then for the other one, for the Skill Monkey as an example, of an atypical build, to show that they're still valid. And the reason I do this is because I've seen some reviews lately on Pathfinder Kingmaker specifically, because I've been watching my old content and YouTube suggests, hey, watch this shit. And it turns out that, yeah, some people are really hating on Kingmaker, and I'm kind of pissed by that, quite frankly. There's plenty of things about Kingmaker I didn't like, to be clear, and I agree with several of their points. But when I hear shit like, oh, to play the game, you have to be min-max, that's a bullshit lie. There's been plenty subpar characters that I've made that I've gotten well into chapters 3 and 4, and yeah, I just got tired of it because I just didn't like the character. That wasn't because they sucked. And remember, you have a team. You can be a sucky character. Just don't die. Have your team support you. You can literally be the delicate snowflake that the whole team basically is taking care of, and you're just hiding in the fucking corner, cowering in fear while everyone else is doing all the heavy lifting. There's nothing wrong with that in this game. Be the skill monkey. You can do that. And that's why I'm doing these other odd, atypical videos. Because I want you to see, you will be fine. You will not be playing it on the hardest difficulty. If you do, and if you do, you are an idiot. Pardon my French. But fucking really? Why would you take the weakest wizard you could possibly muster and say, I'm going to do the Last Aslanti mode on the hardest difficulty, and I'm going to own this game because I've played D&D once. No, yeah, okay, you obviously never learned anything from D&D because you're going to get your fucking ass handed to you, even with a fucking party. Because you suck as a wizard at level 1. I mean, I'll play a playthrough probably as a wizard just for funsies, but it won't be definitely on the hardest difficulty, and I sure as fuck ain't playing Last Aslanti mode. That shit's for psychos. Last Aslanti mode, for those of you that don't know, is I have one save file. Like one. You can, of course, log off the game, and it will save your progress at that point. So you come back in, and you'll go back to where you logged off on. So there is that. So don't think you have to sit here and play like a 200-hour fucking game from start to finish with only one save file. But what that means is you really only have one point in time that you can go back to, and if you die, game's over. That's hardcore mode. I mean, it's why they call it Last Aslanti mode, and it's fucking cool. I mean, I dig it. I'm even tempted to actually throw that out as an option for when we finally get this game released in like early September. The first playthrough, I'm almost kind of tempted to do, you know, like make me a killer build myself. No, not you. I'll make me a killer build of something I think will be fun. Probably an evil playthrough, because I mean, let's face it, if it doesn't go anywhere, like I die in like the first few chapters, I won't feel bad. But go through and just like maul the shit out of stuff and see how far I can take a Last Aslanti mode on one of the harder difficulties. It won't be the hardest difficulty. I'll be fucking honest with you. There's no fucking way in hell I'm doing the hardest difficulty ever, ever, ever. And for those of you that wonder why, let's actually show you why. For the hardest difficulties, again, this goes towards the people that were bitching about Kingmaker. I heard people saying that for the normal difficulty, it was you have to be min-max to beat the game with normal difficulty. That's bullshit, because this is very similar to Kingmaker, so I can use this as a template. Notice how the bad guys are doing 80% of their damage. Not 100, not full damage, 80%. The enemy stats are somewhat easier as far as the difficulty classes and shit that you have to beat and pass. So again, this is normal mode for them. That's bullshit. To me, normal mode is actually core. They don't call it core in Kingmaker, but it's something similar. So it's basically higher than normal. Why do I say this is normal to me? Because look at this. Full damage, normal crits. Go back to normal here, how the crits are weak. 80% damage, weaker enemies. Everything else is standard, but if you go to core, everything levels off where it should be. To me, core is normal. This would be what you should play. And this will be how I play the game. Notice, if I start doing hard and unfair, they even give you a red flag of, fuck you, you're being very stupid for fucking suggesting this shit, because you have no idea how bad this gets. Look at this shit. They do 2 times the damage. For free. Not talking crits now, damn it. We're talking just 2 times the goddamn damage. Then, much tougher enemies, so higher DC checks for you to pass, which makes it almost impossible. Then, enemy difficulty is insane. Look at the categories here. Weak, normal, strengthened, and insane. Normal's the one that I shoot for. Strengthened, I don't mind trying. It's tough. It's very, very tough. But insane is just like, take a fucking hammer and nails to your ball sack and staple it to the fucking table. Why would you do this to yourself? This is just dumb. So, I'm not playing unfair. I don't fucking care how many you guys ask. I don't care how many of you want to throw fucking money at my Patreon webpage, which doesn't exist. I ain't doing insane. Because this is dumb. This is stupid dumb. This is not any remote kind of fun here to be had. This one is alright. Strengthen is tough. Very tough. And if you think, well, it's not that big of a deal. It's only like a +4 to their stats. Keep reading. It's also a +4 to their stats. That's their strength, their dex, their con, their intelligence, their wisdom, their charisma. All those. That implies a +2 to their swing guaranteed and a +2 to their damage if they're a strength-based attacker. Right? Okay, wait, we're not done. They also get a +2 to all armor, not just because their dexterity went up, but in addition to that. And wait, more, they get a +2 to their attack bonus, again, not because their strength or their dex went up, but in addition to that. So technically, we're talking a character that has +4 stats across the board, and has a +4 to their swing, +2 probably to their damage, and a +4 to their armor class at the get-go. That's plenty difficult for me, and I'm okay with that. I min-max enough-ish. I don't call it that, but I mean, I build a good character, is the way I say it. And it's shit that works for me, and that's the way I look at stuff. Everyone's different. Everyone will, again, a build that I haven't done for you guys, which I should probably do, is called Vital Strike, because this game adds a lot of cool potential to that. I'm just not a fan. That's why I don't really make the build. But if someone wants to see it, I'll put my 2 cents in. Look at it, research it, find the best mythic path I would think that would go with that, and fucking make you a build that would crush. And as weird as it sounds, Vital Strike is actually powerful. Vital Strike, for those of you that don't know, is a feat. There's like 3 of them. There's Vital Strike, Improved Vital Strike, and Greater Vital Strike, I believe. There's 3 of them. And then, of course, there are the mythic versions now, too. What Vital Strike does is it takes your weapon, and instead of swinging multiple times in a combat round, you swing once and you're done. However, if you hit, you do double the damage or triple the damage or quadruple the damage of the weapon only. And that doesn't sound that great, especially when it's like a dagger that does 1d4. Well, now it does 4d4. Okay, it's better. It's not leaps and bounds better. It's not burning 3 feats better. But think about it. I think of it, the reason I have a problem with it is because I'm used to a character that can swing 3, 4, 5 times, like a fighter, a wizard, fighter, a magus, a barbarian, that's going to like crush shit anyway. Take that lowly wizard or sorcerer that can swing twice, and the second swing is probably going to miss, and now you can see why Vital Strike is important for them. So again, there's some fun to be had there. I know this video's gone on long enough, but I wanted to show you this build in a nutshell, give you a feel for what can be done. Again, I went a little crazy with all the persuasion feats and whatnot, but again, that's your prerogative. You don't have to grab them all, but I think there's some serious fun to be had here. Again, 3 more builds coming minimum. One of them, again, will be another strength build tonight. And again, I want to give you at least a couple strength and a couple dex-based builds generically so that you all have a springboard. With that, my name is Brother Mean. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.